The stakes for our future have never been higher. Our struggle has been long. There are so many that fight against us, try to discredit us and strip us of our power. We won't let them. We will not wait for the world to change. We can't, because we are fighting for what we all know to be just. And it fills us with an impossible strength. In the face of resistance that grows as we become more powerful, we are unstoppable. Using new methods, new perspectives, new approaches, we lead differently. With compassion, empathy, and dedication, we build a fortress of hope. We raise our voices together with those who came before us and those who will carry our fight far into the future. We step boldly into our power and proclaim to the world, this is our time.
Please welcome Vital Voices President and CEO, Elise Nelson.
Good evening, everyone. Hello. Wow, welcome back to the Kennedy Center. Welcome to our 21st Global Leadership Awards. And welcome to all, welcome to all of us that are joining online, the many global leaders from around the world through our live stream. So it's been 3 years since we were last gathered together, and in that time we've seen historic change sweeping the world. We've seen what's possible when we come together and what happens when we fall apart, tear apart. There's new weight, it seems, new urgency behind the word leadership now. Never before has it been clear just how much is at stake in the world. True leaders know that you can't wait for the perfect moment or even a better moment to call out injustice, defend our values, or forge a new path forward. At this very moment, there are young women in Iran, teenagers, gathering their strength from today's protests and preparing for tomorrow. Their resistance and defiance is world-changing, and their struggle, quite honestly, is linked. It's linked to the struggle of women in Afghanistan, collective progress. That's the real value of women's leadership. It's what we've seen over the past 25 years. It's about moving people forward, uniting us across our differences in a common struggle for shared values. If there is anything we've learned in these past few years, it is that there are no guarantees in this world. The future we want to see, we have to insist on it. And that is exactly what our honorees tonight are doing. From Brazil to South Africa, Ukraine to Iran, and right here in the United States, tonight we are recognizing an extraordinary group of women, all of whom refuse to wait for the world to change. They are meeting the urgency of the moment with compassion and creativity and profound courage. Against all the odds, they rise up every day, they push on, and they fight for a better future, improving the world for generations to come. Now, I know we have a lot of young people in the house tonight. Are you all out there with us? Good. We've missed you. Well, to all of you who are with us tonight, all of the young people who are here tonight, I hope that if you take one thing away from tonight, it will be that you can't wait to lead. Don't let anyone ever tell you that you are too young to change the world. Don't let anyone ever define your future by telling you that this is the only way the world can be. No. Instead, look to our honorees. Look to women around the world who are stepping up and insisting on a more equal world. Thank you all for being here. Thank you. Enjoy the evening.
All of us at Vital Voices would like to thank those individuals and organizations who have made tonight possible and who support our work throughout the year. To our global champion, the Diller von Furstenberg Family Foundation, our patrons, Dr. Deborah Rose, P&G, our visionaries, Inmart Foundation, Kate James and Hans Bishop, Marlene Malik, Donna and Mac McClarty, Bozema St. John, Target, Union Pacific. Vital Voices thanks all of you for your partnership and support. Invest in women, improve the world.
Please welcome the chair of the board of Vital Voices, Kate James.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm incredibly proud to serve as the chair of the board of Vital Voices, especially over these last 3 years. In a time of historic crisis and uncertainty, when others were retreating, Vital Voices moved forward in an even more audacious way. We increased emergency assistance funding, forged crisis response coalitions, and expanded program offerings to meet emerging needs. For 25 years, Vital Voices has pioneered a powerful model for social change, investing directly in women leaders who are taking on the world's greatest challenges. Across 184 countries and a network of 20,000, our team supports, connects, and amplifies leaders who bring locally informed solutions to their communities. Collectively, Vital Voices leaders have impacted hundreds of millions of people. And I couldn't be more pleased that a few of these leaders are here with us tonight to share the impact that Vital Voices has had on their lives.
I joined the Vital Voices Network in 2014. I had just launched Safe City, a crowdsourcing platform that documents sexual and gender-based violence in public spaces. Since then, I have partnered with several women in the Vital Voices Network to take Safe City to over 15 countries. And together, we have helped over 1 million women break their silence and drive accountability in their communities, creating safer spaces.
I have been part of Vital Voices for 15 years, and within this period, Vital Voices has supported us, our organization, Fed, to pass a national law on human trafficking and to create regional task forces to implement these laws, to oversee the implementation of these laws. This law protects 20 million citizens. And through our organization, Fed, we have been able to withdraw and rehabilitate more than 3,000 survivors of child trafficking, human trafficking, and we are still doing so.
I have been a member of the Vital Voices Network for 25 years. From the beginning, I was supported to persist to resist, to take on issues that no one was talking about, like domestic violence and human trafficking. And now my journey came a full circle. Last week, I've joined Vital Voices team. I will help network leaders address gender-based violence around the world.
I joined Vital Voices in 1998. The next year, I started the first Vital Voices chapter in Haiti, Femmes en démocratie. We support women economic development through business training, mentorship, and access to local and international markets. With the support of Vital Voices and other international partners, we created a national women's policy platform, and we have empowered more than 30,000 women leaders across Haiti.
Good evening, everyone. I joined the Vital. Thank you. I do not have. I joined the Vital Voices in 2021 when the Taliban took over Kabul. Vital Voices joined the Georgetown Institute for Women, Peace and Security, the Middle East, the State Department, a coalition of Afghan and American women to evacuate and resettle over 1,000 women. Afghan leaders, and I am one of them. As you know, the situation is very difficult for women in Afghanistan. Millions of girls are not allowed to go to school. Thousands and hundreds of women are erased from social life. So they are silenced, so we must become their voice. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Diane von Fürstenberg, and we are living in a very confusing and somewhat chaotic world right now. How do we keep smiling? How do we stay resilient? What do we tell our children? So the first thing I think we should all do as individual or as community is to work hard at being true to ourselves. Because if we are true to ourselves, we are free. Even if we are in jail, we are true to ourselves, we are free. Another thing I think women should do, everyone should do, is focus on solutions. Not one solution, but many, many, many millions of solutions. And women know how to do that really well. So focus on solution and seduction. Seduction doesn't mean showing your legs. Except if they're a good one, you can show them. I do. But seduction means to present our solutions in a way that others will think it's their idea. So these are my tricks for the day. But I will say, whenever I feel discouraged, I think of the women of Vital Voices, the ultimate global network of badass women leaders in 184 countries. These women are my role models. They have shown me that they have the courage to fight, the strength to survive, and the leadership to inspire. They are on the ground every day, fighting for justice and making it happen. They find solutions because they are the solutions. I am proud to serve on the Vital Voices board, where together with my fellow board members, we do all we can to help support these women. I am proud also that we now have created a historical space where leaders can come together, a building of our own in DC, the first ever global embassy for women and girls. But we need to do more. We need to grow our network from 20,000 to 50,000, because if we do that, we would affect 1 billion people. So tonight is the 25th anniversary, so I will use the number 25, and I will ask you to donate whatever you can with 25. $25, $2,500, $25,000, or 25 billions. On the back of your program book, you can see two easy ways to donate. Either you text or you scan the QR code. And you can, of course, always visit vitalvoices.org. I wanted to come with a mission. I want all of you to take the mission, to talk about Vital Voices, to sell Vital Voices, and to make the network better and better all the time. Thank you.
For centuries, women have organized around kitchen tables and in the streets. We've always come together to solve problems across lines that divide us. But the stakes just got higher. It's time we take up space. A place of permanence, a place of power, a place where women and our allies from around the world will come together to solve the world's greatest challenges. Introducing the Vital Voices Global Headquarters for Women's Leadership, a stronghold in Washington, D.C. located in the Equality Corridor, an embassy to amplify women leaders in every part of the world, in person and online. This global embassy stands as a bastion of endurance, an action where leaders before us have marched to ensure equality for all.
Women's rights are human rights! You have joined what we nicknamed Equality Corridor.
We are all going to keep going to freedom and equality on behalf of every man, woman, and child in this country and the world. So let's open the building!
With the support of Vital Voices and its network, women leaders now have a powerful new resource to make society-altering changes. No matter the opposition we face, we are stronger together. And together, we will forever change what real leadership looks like. This is where we will step into our power.
Good evening. My name is Deborah Rutter, and I have the privilege of serving as the president of the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. Thank you. And perhaps on this evening, more so as a board member of Vital Voices, I'm so proud to be here with all of you. Here at the center, we believe in the power of art not just to entertain, but to build empathy, understanding, compassion, and that it can be used for social change. And as a result, can't think of a better alignment than our partnership, our friendship, our dedication to, and commitment to Vital Voices. here in the 25th anniversary, but the 21st celebration of this gala. 20 of those celebrations have taken place here at the Kennedy Center. It just makes me feel so proud. Whether it has been in the Terrace Theater above us or at the Opera House, celebrating out at the Reach as well, and then here in the Eisenhower Theater, which is so beautiful and intimate. It's really, really important for us to participate in this way. It's been a privilege to partner with Vital Voices and together harness the power of the arts to shift culture, whether it's from the longest standing exhibit that we had in the Hall of Nations during the pandemic, to the programs that we know communicate the power of what it means to be alive today and tell the story of who we are as human beings. We all send a clear message about the value of women's leadership and the importance of giving back. I thank you all for being here as you are also giving back. So I'm pleased to welcome this year's honorees to the Kennedy Center. Your leadership inspires us, and your voices belong here at the National Cultural Center of the United States of America. So let's get on, let's honor them.
Please welcome Emmy Award-winning producer, storyteller, and activist, Sarah Eagle Hart.
Happy Wash Day, Madakiapi. Good evening, everyone. It's a privilege to be here tonight and an honor to honor a remarkable indigenous leader and climate activist, Valerisa Veron. Valerisa is a leader of the Guarani Kiowa people whose ancestral lands, culture, and very existence are under increasing threat in West Central Brazil. Her fearless advocacy has made Valerisa a target, and yet, even in the face of devastating tragedy, extreme danger, and violence, she persists. Valerisa carries the wisdom that so many indigenous women share. She knows that we can only find healing through connectedness. Her fight to protect sacred places and ways of living is truly a fight for the future for all of us. I have always believed that indigenous women are the key to the future of the earth. With her courage and defiance, Valerisa affirms that belief. Let's learn more about her story.
Iwai ko au jehu amba eriko ko asha jehu ese ba eriko ko asha o je japo o je tupanya de uwu umangwe ma ko uwu ha enyandere ko ha ko uwu ha enyande jaguataha nyande guarani kaiwa ore guarani kaiwa ore guataha ore ko uwupe roime ko uwu re hape ore ko hare he hape ore roi ko asu ore wu are wu are ngwasu oreve romba tuhangwa doi koido oreru sheru hae ojujukaba ekwe chupekwere mbairi kwere ojukaba ekwe chupekwere chupe hahetape ojuka hako akokwehete ojejuka asu ojejuka asu ore miringwe ojegueraha onyemombohetekwe kaaguire upesha ojejuka ore no takwere avei ko ap Ai poramos a escuela ore do capacente, a escuela. Brasil pegua, oikwa, ore no taguasu oikwa, a escuela oyo do cauca. Onyon divero ime, onyon divero ro ime yote. Ore embarete yote, ro hecambarete, ro berecopen barete. Ore huire he hape, ore membuquera de he hape, ore uiquere de he hape, roime. Aveiro ime ko ua perenda jare he hape, roime ko de he hape, o fecha, o pavave, o coveva de he hape. Ore ko ha ete kove, ha ete ko. She ave ha petain. E o capuna quero, a quero orereca, a quero xereca, che do casego a vei, coure he rap, ai por amo oro em me coap, roime, ai me coap che, ure he rap.
On behalf of Vital Voices, it is my honor to present the Global Leadership Award to Valdelice, Veron.
Em nome do meu povo Kaiowá, agradecemos a Vital Voices.
On behalf of my people, the Kiowa, we are grateful to Vital Voices.
Trago os gritos de povo que luta pela vida.
I bring you the cries of our people who are fighting for our lives.
Nos últimos anos, foram executados mais de 300 líderes indígenas, incluindo muitas mulheres, crianças, caciques, alguns corpos desapareceram.
In recent years, more than 300 indigenous leaders have been murdered, including many women, children, and chiefs, some of whose bodies have disappeared.
Nós, líderes indígenas, ainda continuamos sendo alvos desses pistoleiros.
We live with violence, intimidation, persecution, and all kinds of ambushes and assassinations.
Vivemos com violência, intimidação, perseguição e todo tipo de emboscadas e assassinatos.
I got ahead of her. We live in violence, intimidation, persecution, and all kinds of ambushes and assassinations.
Eles envenenam os nossos rios, jogam veneno em nossas aldeias e tentam destruir o nosso modo de vida Kaiowá.
They poison our rivers, throw poison onto our villages, and try to destroy our Kiowa way of life.
Trago o clamor dessas crianças, das meninas que são violentadas e abusadas sexualmente durante ataque nas aldeias.
I am here to ask on behalf of those who have fallen in the struggle for our land that you take action to stop this genocide.
Venho pedir em nome daqueles que caíram na luta pela terra que atuem para pôr o fim a este genocídio.
I'm here to ask on behalf of those who have fallen in the struggle for our land that you take action to stop this genocide.
Que a Constituição Federal seja cumprida e que não haja retrocesso nas terras retomadas.
That Brazil's federal constitution must be obeyed and that there be no more stealing of our lands that are being demarcated.
A terra para nós é a essência da vida do Kaiowá. Nós pertencemos à terra.
The land for us is the essence of our life. As the Kiowa people, we belong to the land.
Não adianta os pistoleiros nos matar. Vamos seguir demarcando a nossa terra com nosso próprio sangue.
They won't succeed with gunmen killing us. We will continue to demarcate our land with our blood, if necessary.
Nós somos o povo originário, pertencemos à terra, à floresta.
We are the original peoples. We belong to the land.
A floresta é a essência da vida Kaiowá, algo que aqueles que destroem a terra jamais irão entender.
The forest is the essence of life for the Kiowa. This is something that those who destroy the land will never understand.
Terra, vida, justiça e demarcação.
Land, life, justice, and land demarcation.
Terra, vida, justiça e demarcação.
Land, life, justice, and demarcation.
Jarraque, Vital Voices, Jarraque.
Let's go together, Vital Voices.
Please welcome internationally acclaimed researcher, author, and former Department of Homeland Security Disinformation Agency Director, Nina Jankowicz.
Hello, everyone. I am so thrilled to be here tonight as we honor women of extraordinary courage and conviction. Our next honoree is bold, determined, and unapologetic about telling it like it is. Pumzile VanDam is an activist from South Africa, and the cause that she champions fearlessly is the truth. In this age of disinformation and industrial-scale lies, it is truth-tellers like Pumzile we desperately need. We need leaders who are willing to speak up and hold powerful institutions to account. For women, and especially women of color, that often means facing harassment, abuse, and even offline violence. But when Pumzile saw in real time how disinformation was fueling division and conflict in her country, she spoke up. She took action, and she refused to back down, even in the face of a formidable opponent. It wasn't the first battle she's waged to defend her values, and it wouldn't be the last. Let's take a look.
It should be so easy just to say this is the truth. We live in a world that has become incredibly polarized, where it's us versus them. It's just become a tense fight between two different camps. We've forgotten what actually brings us together as human beings. I always get asked this question, why politics? When did it happen? So I come from a family of activism. My first kind of political activism was in 5th grade. I got all my classmates to make placards. Went on a protest. I was in huge trouble. My parents were called to come and fetch me. And it was only years later where my mom told me I was actually incredibly proud of you. I just happened to be an effective woman leader, sharing my opinions and not being afraid to share my opinions. I'm a person who lived in South Africa where racial, economic, cultural, social differences, a country with such a painful past. And I've seen firsthand how a British PR company, one of the biggest in the world, Bell Pottinger, came and ran a campaign based on disinformation. What that did was, in a country with a history of apartheid, it ignited those differences. I think it was the first kind of instance of a coordinated social media disinformation campaign where journalists' photos were manipulated, where fake news publications were made up. When the story of who ran this campaign came out, South Africans united and came together and said, no, you will not divide us. There are moments in time when your country is in deep trouble, where your divisions don't matter. It was a moment of rare unity. What I did was find a way to hold Bell Pottinger accountable. In 2014, at 31, I was elected a member of parliament. I presented the case on behalf of South Africa. They were found to have violated the code of conduct. 2 weeks later, they shut shop. So I basically toppled one of the biggest PR firms in the world. What I'm working on now is electoral disinformation. I want to go into elections around the world and put systems in place that identify disinformation. You need to understand why people believe what they believe. I set up projects like that, monitor disinformation, combat it. It's really to foster a sense of activism in people in countries, standing up and saying, I don't want to be lied to. I think it's absolutely possible to get the world back on track. I am very optimistic about the world. I remain optimistic. I have to be optimistic. I think things can improve, but we all need to stand up and do what we can, where we can.
Just incredible. On behalf of Vital Voice, it is my pleasure to present the Global Leadership Award to Pumzile VanDam.
Today, on the shoulders of giants, Winnie Mandela, Lillian Goy, Ruth First, Imbokodo, who sacrificed so much so that my generation of women can have it easier than they did. I am, because of them, I am able to stand here, a young Black African woman, sharing my voice with the world because of their hard toil for freedom. However, the work for freedom of all women across the world is not done. Let me be very clear. We are in crisis. The work of our predecessors is being eroded. Women's rights across the world are in regression, and the number of women running for public office is decreasing. We cannot ignore the role that online violence against women has played in this. Women see the online threats of rape, the cyberbullying, the doxing, the disinformation, and say, I do not want or need this. I never want to have to tell another woman that you need to be strong to exist online. We deserve to share our voices freely and with ease without having to swallow the terrors that come with being a woman online. I ask you today to please join me in the fight for social media platforms to implement robust systems to reduce and eradicate online violence against women. Laws must be in place that clearly define what online violence is, and sanctions put in place should social media platforms fail to act on online violence against women. United in all our different beliefs, geographic origins, culture, race, I believe we can turn the tide. I believe together we can get women's rights back on track. To the young women I know are sitting up in the sitting up in the balcony, I have a message for you. Upset the status quo, knock the doors down, claim your place at the table, it is yours. I will not tell you to be strong in the face of the violence that you will experience, but I will tell you to stand firm on your convictions. Place your feet on principle and refuse to budge. Do not dim your light for those who will be intimidated by your presence. I'd like to close with words from my favorite poet, Ijeoma Mbiyinyo. Start now. Start where you are. Start with pain. Start with doubt. Start with your hands shaking. Start with your voice trembling, but start. Start and don't stop. Start where you are. Just start. Amandla, women, Amandla! Amandla! Thank you.
Please welcome Vital Voices Board Chair Emerita and former U.S. Ambassador at Large for Global Women's Issues, Melanne Verveer.
Good evening, everyone. It's always a great personal pleasure for me to be back for the Vital Voices Leadership Awards. And I'm truly honored to be here to recognize an incredible coalition led by 5 women. For decades, each of them, through her own organization, advanced women's rights in Ukraine. They pioneered services for survivors of gender-based violence and human trafficking. But on February the 24th, their world was turned upside down. Overnight, Ukraine, unprovoked, was under attack by Russia, and the Ukrainian people have since endured loss of lives, devastation, and horrific brutality. And while the international community slowly rallied, our honorees immediately organized with determination. They formed a powerful coalition across regions. In the East, Olena Morgan and Antonina Shostak. And in the West, Ina Sabadosh, Halina Kravets, and Lyubov Maximovich. Together, they organized an emergency effort to assist thousands of displaced women and children. With immediate support from the crisis response team at Vital Voices, our honorees found creative ways to protect and care for the most vulnerable. They didn't wait for help to arrive. They led the charge. Let's learn more about their heroic, ongoing efforts.
Я прокинулася десь між 5 і 6 ранку.
Це був початок війни. Я зрозуміла, що щось потрібно робити. Не можна бути в ступорі.
На вокзалі були тисячі людей.
допомогти, намагались спасти свої родини, своє життя.
Люди, які приїжджали, вони не мали нічого з собою.
Я зрозуміла, що я просто не зможу всім допомогти.
Бачучи горе людей, тут було єдине бажання, хоч чимось допомогти.
Уже ввечері я дзвонила багатьом своїм колегам.
Ми почали діяти спільно.
Ми разом кооперувалися, ми виясняли, хто що має, чим ми можемо поділитися для цих людей.
Багато організувалося волонтерів, які допомагали жінкам з дітьми.
Але людей приїжджали все більше і більше.
Тоді це було просто величезним викликом, тому що всього не вистачало.
Місцеві приносили одяг, харчі, все, що могли.
От люди якось сплотилися всім допомогти.
Підтримка з боку моїх колежанок з інших регіонів була неймовірна.
Стержень України – це жінка. Ми є горді, ми є вільні, ми є незалежні і нас не зламати.
Війна нас настільки об'єднала, ми настільки допомагали одна одній.
Ми надали підтримку не лише гуманітарну, а і психологічну, юридичну, інформаційну, транспортну.
За 2 місяці я мала тільки 2 вихідні дні. Це був просто час, коли ти інакше поступити не міг.
Нам вдалося допомогти цим людям і дати їм надію на майбутнє.
And here to welcome the here to accept the Global Leadership Award on behalf of the Coalition of Ukrainian Women NGOs, please join me in welcoming from Ukraine tonight, Lyubov Maximovich.
Dear friends, in Ukraine, we are not fighting only for our country, for our freedom. We are fighting for our value of democracy in the world. This is a very historical moment for the global community. The war in Ukraine is testing our strength to protect the future of democracy. Ukrainians are fighting, and Ukrainian women have such an important role. We are doing everything possible to protect our people, to help them survive. Women continue to work in university, in hospitals, at school, and in army on the front line. the war was taken away from our colleagues and friends, families, and children. The enemy is trying to steal our future. Every day we wake up to bombing. We do not know what the day will bring. It's terrible. We need solidarity and understanding like never before. We are asking women all around the world to hear our voices and to listen us. We need your support now to help us a future survive in the winter and help us restore our country. We depend on the global community now in our efforts of rebuild, protect democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. We believe in our victory. It's a very high price what we're paying, but we will fight. We will win. We will win.
Please welcome the President and CEO of Essence Ventures, Caroline Wanga.
I know we're here to honor people tonight, but I think if you're feeling like me right now, you just need a woof, right? The mantle we bear. The announcer said, I'm Caroline, that's who I am. But today, on this incredible evening, where we honor women who continue to do what needs to be done so we continue to be honorable women, I couldn't be more excited to be here with you today to recognize another phenomenal, path-breaking leader, a woman who has truly found her purpose and stands in it strongly. At Essence, we believe the Black woman is CEO of Home, Culture, and Community, and out of North Carolina came Monica Simpson. Olinda's baby. I know you, Olinda. I see you, boo. This your baby girl. I had to say the mama name. You know how we are. But our sister CEO, Monica Simpson, is an artist and an activist. Throughout her life, she championed the rights of Black people, the LGBTQ community, and women, often using the power of art to move people. She also is there to challenge, persuade, and most importantly, unify us. She spent the last decade leading Sister Song, the largest national collective of women of color who are advancing reproductive justice. Oh, right? Come on, Olinda. That's your baby, Olinda. Yeah. I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta be cultural. But at her core, Monica builds connections for liberation, as has been demonstrated by all of the honorees tonight. She knows that abortion care is tied to voting rights, that queer justice is linked to racial justice. She expands the space where social issues intersect and always makes more room for marginalized voices. Her vision, her audacity, her unmitigated gall is nothing less than full reproductive justice. And nothing will deter her from realizing it. So I want y'all to get as excited as me about her. Take a look at the screen to learn more about Monica.
The path I've walked all my life has led me to this moment. I've been harassed, threatened, cast out. I've held pregnant friends who were shamed and condemned. All my life, I watched the thread of injustice wind through the world around me. I decided I was going to be the real me, the queer, unapologetically Black me. It was then I began fighting for the rights of Black people, LGBTQ folks, and women. We must fight for freedom. We must fight for freedom. We must fight for justice. We must fight for justice. Since 2013, I've had the honor and privilege of leading Sister Song, a Southern-based national organization. At Sister Song, we've defined reproductive justice as the human right to maintain bodily autonomy, to have children, to not have children, and parent the children we have in safe and sustainable communities. We know that abortion care is health care. Right now, Sister Song is the lead plaintiff in a case against the state of Georgia and its 6-week abortion ban. What we know is that when they come for some of our rights, they are emboldened to come for all. So our strategies for getting to liberation must be intersectional. Abortion care, queer and trans people's rights to live freely, people's right to vote, all of our freedoms are at stake right now. The overturning of Roe v. Wade by the U.S. Supreme Court rescinded a half-century of federal constitutional protection for the right to abortion and attempted to undo all of the work that has been done by so many for decades. We will not stand for it. We're not going to reverse decades worth of white supremacist patriarchal tactics using the same old tools and methods. We need to shift culture. We need to shift hearts and minds. That requires us to dig deep and bridge our work with art, music, poetry, and life itself. We need to ensure that everyone can be a part of this movement, that everyone can see themselves reflected in this movement. We have to build our collective power and build a world where our human rights are secure.
Regardless of where you stand on it, you just need to stand. If I said I had 3, would you hate me? On behalf of Vital Voices, it is my privilege, my honor, to present the Global Leadership Award to Olinda's daughter, Miss Monica Simpson.
Wow, I'm very rarely at a loss for words, but thank God for a written speech, okay? I do want to first give honor to my ancestors whose shoulders and prayers that I stand upon. I want to give love to my family who was here tonight. Y'all done heard her name already. Olinda is in the building. And my uncle, also my incredible board and staff members who are here with me as well. I would not be the unapologetically Black, Southern, queer, creative leader that I am if it was not for your love, your support, and your trust. I am forever grateful. I also want to thank Vital Voices for recognizing me and my story. Our stories, y'all, are so sacred, and mine led me to my life's work and fuels me every day that I fight for sexual and reproductive justice, y'all, a movement that believes in what Audre Lorde said, that we cannot have single-issue movements because we do not live single-issue lives. A movement that is so necessary right now for our liberation because our bodies, our lives are under attack. And so this work is critical to the very foundation of liberation work today, and I am proud to call this work my political home. To each of you that are here tonight, though, I want to leave you with an urgent charge. See, it's the time to realize that this is our moment to create the world we all deserve. A world where everybody can live as freely as possible. This is our chance to finally repair and boldly reimagine, to fully accept that systems of oppression are inextricably linked purposely to violate the human rights of those historically pushed to the margins, y'all. It's time that we work to dismantle these systems of white supremacy, patriarchy, misogynoir by any means necessary. And I'm just here to also remind you that the people that we read about in the history books, those ones who hid slaves from while they were running towards freedom in their floorboards, the ones who marched on the Edmund Pettus Bridge and rose up at Stonewall, the ones who organized underground for abortion care and worked and walked into schools with violent, raging people behind them, we are those people, y'all. Right now, we are the ones creating the history. We are creating the future for the generations that will come behind us. So this is our time to shift the culture. It is our time to change the masses and to be the change makers. And it's our time to be the bridge builders. See, I am ready and willing to step in this moment with everything that I have. My question for you tonight is, are you? Are you ready to trust the leadership of Black, Indigenous, and people of color? Are you ready to out-organize our opposition that is working hard every single day to destroy our democracy by any means necessary? Are you ready to be the ones to step into this moment with everything that you have in you? Because I'm here to tell you tonight that you have been given everything that you need to be able to succeed in this moment. You chose to be here for a time such as this. So because resources, although very necessary, those resources alone will not save us in this moment. Neither will single-issue organizing. And elections, y'all, just ain't gonna always cut it for us. So we are called to build a more beautiful, a more deeply, deeply connected movement of collective power that will allow us to organize our way to liberation. Are you ready to organize? If you're ready to organize, I need you to say something with me. We must fight for freedom. We must fight for justice. It will take all of us to get to the other side. Young people up top, I need you to say it. We must fight for freedom. We must fight for justice. It will take all of us to get to the other side. To my other folks that I am sharing this award with tonight, know that I know that my liberation depends upon your liberation, and it is going to take all of us to get to where we all deserve to be, where liberation is possible in our lifetime. I am grateful. Thank you all so much for this honor.
Please welcome Iranian-American actor and writer, Nazanin Noor.
Mahsa Jina Amini,
a 22-year-old Kurdish Iranian woman whose name has become the battle cry of a movement, an uprising, a revolution. After she was arrested and detained by the Islamic Republic's morality police for improper hijab, Mahsa died while in custody from what witnesses say were repeated blows to the head. In response, Iranian women and girls, and men and boys, including Iranians of all ethnic backgrounds and identities, have taken to the streets in mass protest, chanting Zan, Zendegi, Azadi, or its Kurdish origins, Jin, Jian, Azadi. In English, woman, life, freedom. Now in their 8th week, nationwide protests and strikes show no sign of slowing down. Iranians are telling us in no uncertain terms that they want an end to this regime. They want freedom. Iranians in the diaspora receive daily messages from our family, our friends, and even people inside of Iran that we have never met, all of them asking us to amplify their voices, to share news that's being suppressed by the regime's internet shutdowns, to share accounts of daily horrific human rights abuses, including mass arrests and the torture and murder of young dissidents. When the Islamic Republic seized power 43 years ago and made hijab mandatory, it was women who first took to the streets to protest. They were met with the same brute force we see today. But now, we are witnessing a historic rebellion. We see a mass, unyielding effort, and it's bolstered by growing support from non-Iranians around the world. Together with a coalition of Iranian women and world leaders, Vital Voices and For Freedoms launched a campaign urging UN member states to heed the call of Iranians and remove the Islamic Republic from the Commission on the Status of Women. The global body dedicated to promoting gender equality and women's empowerment. So far, we've amassed more than 80,000 signatures, including current and former heads of state, Nobel laureates, and global advocates like Malala Yousafzai. I hope each of you adds your name tonight at the reception following the awards, or please visit vitalvoices.org or Woman Life Freedom Today to sign on. Our collective voices, especially those of powerful women leaders, are making an impact. Just last week, Vice President Kamala Harris announced the US government's support for the removal of the Islamic Republic from the Commission. Her call has been echoed by the governments of New Zealand and Canada, and soon, we hope, many more nations to come. Tonight, Vital Voices is recognizing the girls and women of Iran with their Global Trailblazer Award. We will only make progress through global solidarity. It will take all of us standing on the right side of history together, standing behind the Iranian women and girls who sparked this revolution, and alongside all Iranian people to make meaningful change that will bring true freedom to the people of Iran. Though they cannot stand with us here on this stage, we stand with them. In their honor, singing I Can't Keep Quiet for Iran, please welcome exiled Iranian musical artist Gola, and activist, producer, and singer-songwriter, Milk.
Put on your face, know your place, shut up and smile, don't spread your legs. I could do that, but no one knows me, no one ever will. If I don't say something, if I just lie still, they may see a monster, they may run away. If I let them hear what I have to say, I can't keep quiet. No, I can't keep quiet. No, one woman riot. I can't keep quiet for anyone. No, not anymore.
La brisa نور و عشق و ایمانیم چون ما با هم هستیم فردا آزادیم میگیم زن زندگی آزادی با هم برای ایران برای مهسا من یک ایرانم پر از اسیانم من ساکت نمیشم حقو میگیرم
There'll be someone who understands. Let it out, let it out, let it out now. Let it out, let it out, let it out now. I can't keep quiet. I can't keep quiet. ساکت نمیشم ساکت نمیشیم
Please welcome Vital Voices founder and former U.S. Secretary of State, Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Good evening. Thank you so much for gathering here tonight, and I am thrilled to be with you to celebrate Vital Voices and this extraordinary group of women. I know some of you actually were in Beijing in 1995, including Elise Nelson, the president of Vital Voices, when people from 189 countries came together to declare with one voice that women's rights are human rights. And it was a statement of principle, but it was much more than that. It was a call to action. And since then, generations of women like those we have seen and heard from tonight have answered that call and made advancing the rights of women and girls their life's work. I'm so proud of the honorees that we celebrate. And I couldn't think of a better time to come together to honor them and to honor the work of Vital Voices and the network of women that it represents, as we ourselves had an election that will have an enormous impact on the lives of women and girls in our country. And guess what? It turns out that women enjoy having human rights, and we vote. Just like the women we honor tonight, We are fighting for the same rights and freedoms every day. No matter the challenge, no matter the crisis, women like our honorees are stepping forward and taking action. They are agents of change, they are makers of peace, they are drivers of progress. We heard from Valdelice from Brazil, who risks her life to defend indigenous rights and to protect a threatened environment from wanton destruction. Think of the bravery it takes for her to do what she does in the face of such threats and violence every day. We heard and saw Lubov. When Ukraine came under attack, she and a coalition of Ukrainian women NGOs and leaders, supported by Vital Voices, didn't hesitate to respond, and they immediately mobilized to do everything they could to care for Ukraine's most vulnerable people as they were under attack from a barbaric regime that wants to send the world backwards. In South Africa, Pumzile champions democracy in one of the most important areas I can imagine by holding the powerful to account for disinformation. She challenges them on behalf of truth. And again, she stands on the front lines for all of us in doing that. And right here in our own country, in the midst of a dangerous rollback of women's rights, Monica is a dauntless activist and organizer for reproductive justice. And in Iran, literally as we gather here, courageous women and girls supported by their allies, men and boys, are standing up for their rights and their freedom against a horrific regime. Their defiance against oppression is an inspiration to us all. In these examples, we see what the leaders of this era look like and sound like. They know that to meet the challenges that we face, we need creative, inclusive solutions. And I have certainly seen time and time again how women are often at the forefront of seeking the solutions, lifting up our communities, advancing collective progress. I think it's fair to say progress is not guaranteed. And in politics, there are no permanent victories or defeats. We have to fight for rights and freedom, for values and justice every day, every year. For 25 years, Vital Voices has been a leader in that fight. I have to tell you that when many of us were trying to help evacuate women from Afghanistan, the first calls we made were to Vital Voices. Help us charter planes, find people on the ground who can identify and bring the women and their families to safety until we can get them out. With the invasion of Ukraine, immediately Vital Voices moved into action on the front lines, literally at every border crossing, at every place where women and children were seeking refuge. Vital Voices was there. And now with Iran, Vital Voices helped to spearhead the letter that you saw up on the screen, calling for the United Nations to kick Iran off of a body they should never have been on in the first place, the Commission on the Status of Women. I want all of you to know in this magnificent theater tonight how critical your support of Vital Voices is, because Vital Voices truly performs the kind of intervention and leadership and support that is needed in emergencies around the world. They're the group I go to when I know something on behalf of women and girls must be done. I can still remember sitting in a small office at the State Department back in the 90s with several people, including my friend and colleague, Milan Verveer, proposing this ambitious idea, a vision for what the world could look like if we provided support for women leaders around the globe. And here we are, a quarter century later, and through Vital Voices network of more than 20,000 leaders, we are seeing countless examples and being inspired by the way that vision is realized. Earlier this year, I joined many of you for the opening of the Vital Voices Global Headquarters for Women's Leadership right here in Washington. What an amazing place that is. The headquarters, if you haven't seen it, I hope you will visit. It really does represent the next chapter in the journey of Vital Voices in supporting women's work for progress, for our rights around the world. By bringing women together to exchange ideas and perspectives in a physical space, we are making greater and greater connections. Because in every place where women gather with intention, new possibilities emerge, and that's what I see happening at the Vital Voices headquarters, which truly, I think, can be characterized as the world's first global embassy for women. So, at a time when global women's rights and security are under siege in so many ways, in so many places, leaders like tonight's honorees and organizations like Vital Voices are more important than ever. Your support tonight goes directly to further this critical work, to help these women leaders like our honorees who are on the front lines, who literally risk everything to advance peace, prosperity, opportunity, equality, dignity, and freedom. And they need the holistic support, the long-term support that Vital Voices provides, and then Vital Voices in turn relies on all of us to support that work. I know these are uncertain and even trying times, but I remain very confident that working together, we can forge that better future for all of us. As long as we do not grow weary, as long as we take inspiration from people like tonight's honorees who should inspire us to action. So please, don't lose your optimism, your persistence, your resistance. Join Vital Voices in creating the future that we deserve and want to have for all of us here in this country and around the world, for women and girls, boys and men everywhere. That is the vital work that Vital Voices does. Thank you all very much.
Performing We Won't Go Back, please welcome Grammy-winning singer, songwriter, and producer Autumn Rowe, singer, songwriter, producer, and activist Milk, and producer, multi-instrumentalist, artist, and DJ Bianco.
My body is a revolution. What I do should be my own choosing. We won't go back. We won't.
we won't go back. We honor those who fought before us. They give us strength as we push forward. We won't go back. We won't go back. We won't go back. Hey! We are the voices. We are the truth. 'Cause we make the future. Hey! We are the voices. We are the truth. We won't go back. We won't. 'Cause we make the future. The future. Your good old days are an illusion. Nothing you do can stop the movement. We won't go back. We won't go back. We won't go back. I am human, I am sacred. More than a vessel of your making. We won't go back. We won't go back. We won't go back. Hey! We are the voices. We are the truth. 'Cause we make the future. Hey! We are the voices. We are the truth. We won't go back. We won't. 'Cause we make the future.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing honoring Monica Simpson of Sister Song.
Back. We
Give it up, give it up, hey.
back. We won't go.
Sing along with us, say.
We won't go back.
Louder.
Won't go back. We 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 raise our voice so you can't deny it. Raise our voice so you can't deny it. Raise our voice so you can't deny it.
We will not keep quiet. We will raise our voices to the highest degree. Our bodies, our mind, our spirit were made to be set free. If you feel this message, let it go. No, you can't.
Hear it in your voice. Hear it in your voice. Hear it in your voice. Go and let it go. No, you can't deny. No, you can't. We won't go back. We won't go back. We won't. We won't go back. 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 We won't go back.
Thank you to our incredible musical artists. Thank you to our choir, the voices. Thank you to Autumn Rowe, to Milk, to Bianco, and thank you to all of you for being here and for your support throughout the year. The party isn't over. Please join us in the reach for the after reception, and we will see you next year. Thank you.
You can have all the money in your hands, all the possessions anyone can ever have, but it's all worthless treasure. True worth is only measured not by what you got, but what you got in your heart. You can have